like go ahead and call this meeting on Wednesday, May 18th, 2022 of the Commission on West Hartford Commission on Veterans Affairs. It's called to order at 7:06 p.m. Can I get a motion to approve? So
You don't need to do
I
that.
don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to do that. Okay. Let's go ahead and Adam, do you mind doing the roll call?
Sure. John Johnson.
Here.
Kate Hamilton is here. Dave Polyak.
Here.
John Kelleher.
Here.
Jeremy Donnelly. Present. Alexis Davidoff.
Here.
Matt Hart.
Here.
Garrett Sheehan is not with us, and I'm Adam Rader. Now we also have a special guest, Essie Lebreau, town clerk, the town of West Hartford.
Hello.
Okay. Go ahead to item number 3 on our agenda. The approval of the minutes from our special meeting on April 19th, 2022. Can I get a motion?
I know those minutes arrived to you late. Did anyone have a chance to review them?
Yes. I did.
Okay. We would like to move to approve.
Motion to approve. Second.
Great.
Thank you. So while we wait for Heidi, oh no, excuse me, I'm sorry. Number 4, event to honor Vietnam era veterans in West Hartford.
Essie, do you want to kind of give us the background on
Sure. Sure.
how that event is coming about and who's behind it and how we might be able to assist you?
Sure. So the event honoring veterans, Lieutenant Governor Susan Weissowitz has been doing for a number of years. We did one a number of years ago for World War II veterans, and we did one for Korean War veterans, and now we're working on a veterans, Vietnam War veterans ceremony. This particular ceremony will typically take place in one of our high school auditoriums. We have close to 600 Vietnam War veteran era members in our town. I got the list from our assessor, who provides us with that information. The Lieutenant Governor's office provided us with a letter template. They will give certificates to each of these veterans that attend. This is for living Vietnam War veterans, not deceased. So what we would do is send out a letter to all of the Vietnam War veterans that we have knowledge of in West Hartford based on that assessment list. And then hopefully reach out to some other veteran organizations to provide us with lists of other veterans that may not own property or whatever in West Hartford, but live in town. I am hoping to have this commission participate in assisting with this because it is going to be a pretty large ceremony. We expect to do it in September at some time. The typical ceremonies start at around 5 p.m. If we get a huge response and have more than 300 or 400 respond, we may have 2 ceremonies. So it would involve sending out letters, having an RSVP function so that the veteran can respond that they are planning to attend. We can choose to have snacks and beverages if we like. And the Lieutenant Governor's office provides the certificates, and the mayor would obviously attend, and the distribution of the certificates would take place. We have no budget for this, but I think we can think of some things. My office would certainly send out the letters. One of the, if this commission is willing to be like the host commission to assist in sponsoring this, I was thinking of possibly having a town Veterans Commission email set up so that you could access that and people could respond via email. If you were willing to just assist with, thinking about what we can do to make it special. Are there, are there some refreshments? Maybe we could solicit from some local restaurants for, some type of beverage or finger food or cookies or whatever. I think we would get strong support because I think everybody loves to participate in celebrating our veterans. So I am hopeful that you will want to participate in this, and at whatever level you can do to assist, we will gratefully accept.
Essie, two questions. First, Vietnam War veterans or Vietnam era veterans?
Vietnam War era.
Okay, era.
Era.
Well, that includes a lot more people than just. Okay.
That's why we have close to
Okay.
600.
Fine. And then secondly, like maybe a high school band.
We could certainly, I help with the program. We could certainly have that. We could have, we have talented student singers. There's a lot we could do with this. So it's pretty much open program wise as how we would like to do this. The letter generated from the will actually come from the town of West Hartford, and it will be signed by the mayor, the lieutenant governor, and Commissioner Thomas Sadi from Department of Veteran Affairs. He has been participating in all these events. They've been held across the state. So I would expect West Hartford would really roll out the red carpet for this because we are the center of the universe and best.
Essie, with this event, are the honorees, are they able to bring a +1?
Yes, family and guests are welcome. And that's why an auditorium, I did speak to Bob Palmer and he thought Conard might be the most a good site for us because of its accessibility. So that's another consideration.
Heidi, sorry, not Heidi, Essie. I got a message from a Vietnam era veteran in town who I had mentioned that the town was going to be hosting this event. And he expressed concern about how some Vietnam veterans feel about their service and about whether or not they would want to be like almost like they should have the option to self-identify. So I'm not sure what the communication to that group would look like, but I'm wondering what kind of sensitivities there might be, because we want to honor them. We want to invite them to participate. Obviously, it's fully voluntary, but any thoughts about that? On is the lieutenant governor's office handling the communication?
Yes, I can read you the letter that
Okay.
that they would send out, and it would be, as a veteran of the United States Armed Forces, it is because of your service, not of your brother and sister veterans, that we are able to live in this free and democratic nation. We believe your patriotic service to our nation during the Vietnam era is truly deserving of recognition. We cordially invite you to the West Hartford Veterans Awards Ceremony to recognize your dedication and commitment to your nation, along with other veterans from West Hartford who served during the Vietnam era. The ceremony will be at blah, blah, blah. And if you and your family plan to attend, please RSVP. And then we look forward to thanking you for your service to our state and our country.
So I would, hi, this is Heidi. I'm so sorry I got on late, so I didn't meet everybody, and I apologize for that. I'm currently the commander of the American Legion post as of a week ago for West Hartford. And I think that Mr. Rader brings up a good point on the feeling of some of our veterans, some of which are very vocal and like to be recognized and may want to come into public, and others who do struggle with the Vietnam identity. And I think it would be great if it was recommended to whoever wrote the letter, whether it's the Lieutenant General's office or, Tom Gotti or whoever, to suggest also that if you would prefer to receive a certificate by mail and maybe not attend the ceremony, we would love to recognize you in that way. And we'd love to get
Excellent.
that to you that way, because I do believe that there is some feeling. Like, I know I have a couple neighbors and I've tried to kind of get them join the Legion or some other organizations like the Disabled American Veterans, which I'm also a part of. And there is some feeling among veterans to not identify with that era, and that they had a very difficult time coming back to the States and had a lot of, I will just say, bullying or not very nice feelings towards them. And I think that that might give them a way to potentially say, hey, I would like that certificate, but I don't want to come to your event.
Mhm. Sure, that's a really good point. I will pass that on. And that was an option as well with the World War II veterans and the Korean War veterans too. There were a couple that called and said, I just don't feel comfortable coming. And that was fine. We got them the certificate and we mailed it off to them.
And I know that our American Legion post, we also have some connection. There's a Jewish veteran association town. The VFW doesn't now have a specific post here in town, but I went to the Korean one that the Lieutenant General's office and the mayor's office and the others involved did, and it was really great. And I was just sad to see not a lot of people there. Part of that is our Korean War veterans are older. There's not a ton of them left. And then also, just how do we get this word out? We certainly have a lot of bodies within our organization, but even when we put out mailers or emails or all different ways or calling trees, sometimes we get no response. And we do have a lot of veterans that are in the local nursing homes, and that's something that I have a sort of a heart for, of how do we get those guys out of there and transportation to your events when you host something that's really great like this, because a lot of people can't drive. We've got a couple Vietnam veterans who cannot drive anymore for different reasons. And it would be really important for us to notify all those, nursing or living facilities. Hey, if you guys have any, veterans, we'd love to get them rides or, help them get to the event.
Thank you, Heidi. And
We should definitely we could certainly tap multiple local media sources for that. We could offer rides to individuals who don't already have some other sort of support network, friends or loved ones who could give them rides. I'm not sure how we'd go about coordinating that, but if the town or if the American Legion were able to identify individuals who would need rides, I think there are a lot of different opportunities for members of this commission to assist. And
yeah, it's something I tried to pull off for the Veterans Day memorial ceremony. I didn't think of it in time, and then we couldn't get enough drivers to do that. So our direct group is pretty small of people who are active in our unit. And sorry, my dog just decided to come visit me. And so, I think it would be something really important for all these different kind of events if we had some sort of a transportation idea. How do we support vets that are in our West Hartford, living facility properties that don't have family or can't drive? Because these guys get missed all the time. And we did a little bit with my Boy Scouts this year, taking them some stuff around the holidays. I haven't identified all of them, but most of the facilities, if we call them and ask, they know who within their living facility is a vet, and they'll tell you, oh yeah, we've got like 8 Vietnam vets or 4 Korean vets. They knew, and then I was able to bring them stuff at Christmas and for Hanukkah and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
a couple of things. In that Essie, in that letter, could you asked the LG's office to add if you have any accessibility needs or transportation needs to reach out. And I know that there's enough people on here on this call that have done coordinated programs to get people to vote to the polls. So I'm confident that if they communicate, if people respond to the letter and to that email address that you mentioned and communicate that they have a transportation need, we could that is no problem. That's not a problem at all. So we talked about nursing homes, accessibility, transportation, media. I'm a member of the Jewish War Veterans, so I can talk to them. Additionally, between all of our Facebook pages, our DTC, our RTC, our town council, senior center, community center,
Neighbors and friends.
neighbors. Yeah, there's so, we can add this, we all know who to tell to get word out on this one, and to get volunteers, et cetera, et cetera.
Kate, I could also try to enlist some of the old guard members to do that. That we'll be meeting in September right away, right after Labor Day. And, for a one-shot deal like that, I think you could mobilize some people. I could mobilize some people out of that group.
We could also ask our General Assembly delegation to include it in their weekly newsletters. And to put the email address there, that if anybody has question, to email that address, and then, whoever's managing it at that point in time can respond.
Does anybody have a list within this organization? Because this is what I was trying to get from the mayor's office before Veterans Day, when it had come to me, was trying to find a list of all of the, nursing homes or assisted living homes within West Hartford, and maybe an email list of all the manager directors or nursing directors.
We have that. Yes, the registrar of voters has that, so I can get that easily.
Okay. So that
They
would be
also,
great.
I thought, had transportation. A lot of these have large buses and.
They did, but we didn't do stuff early enough to get them to the veterans. Well, there's two issues. So we didn't do it early enough to get them to the Memorial Center when we did the Veterans Day celebration. That was one thing. And then the second thing was that there was also some transportation issues. That accessibility of that, because I brought in the 200 and 104-year-old brothers to that event that day. It's very hard to pull those buses up there. It's hard if you park in the back to get them, especially if they're in wheelchairs or walkers, over the back of that. There's not I think that's a good Eagle Scout project for me to help find some boys to do. Sorry, my cat are literally having a fight behind my video screen here. So that was one thing, is that it's hard to pull up there for the buses to get people out of the cars. There is one area where there's a low part on the sidewalk where you could push wheelchairs up or have people who have canes to get into that memorial area. And then behind the back, it's far if you park and have to walk someone around, because you can't cut through the bushes there. It's very unstable ground for people who have problems walking to get from behind that area, like where there's a sushi place back there in Max Seafood. From that parking lot, if you bring someone in that way and they're not ambulatory, it's hard to get them to the Memorial Center. So just something for us to think about as a way. We definitely need some improvements there for that specific area of meeting, like say for Memorial Day. So those were two problems. One was letting them know early enough to have those kind of buses to transfer people. And then the ones that we did get in touch with and got them transferred there, it was hard to get them from those buses or vehicles to that ceremonial area. So just some thoughts to think about.
Heidi, I don't know if you were on when Essie was talking about this. The event for Vietnam veterans will likely be at one of the high schools.
Yes.
Okay. What does accessibility look like at Hall and Conard?
It's much better at Hall. I go there each week to church with my mom, and you can pull right up into the center, and my mom walks really well, but I did it with my dad too, who was 88. So you can pull right up there, and there is a step, so there isn't an easy ramp right in front of the school, but you can park where there is the ramp, and you can get people. It's much better than our Memorial Town Center. So I know at Conard, I've been to Hall a lot for a couple plays, but I know at Hall there's staircases going in that entrance. There is a ramp, but I know at Conard it's easier to get in there. It's also right off the highway, which SCU said that. It's a very accessible school because it's right off the 84 and a couple exits.
And Connor does have the drop-off loop with a wheelchair, low curb. And then I believe also in the back parking lot, I know there's access there if the back door is open, and I believe there's also wheelchair ramps onto the sidewalk there.
There's an organization in Farmington, based out of Farmington, called Sunshine Wheels, and they were created in response to the challenges that a lot of people experience when using VEO to take residents to appointments and things like that. And I think that they have some of the smaller vans that are wheelchair accessible, and can hold, I think, and the larger, the full size wheelchairs. And I believe they can hold 2 or 3 in each, at least 2 or 3 in each one. I could reach out to them as well and see if they would be amenable to donating some of their time and resources. They're located in Farmington, but their larger organization has locations all throughout the state. So I don't think there would be any local hostility about, oh, this isn't in our town. They would be open to that if they're allowed to do it. There's insurance concerns, I think, to discuss.
And see, I'd like to circle back to John's original question about the specific terminology. When you read the letter, it specifically said Vietnam era veterans, and that's something that every veteran understands. That's a very specific term for us. So if you can't say that, if you say Vietnam War era veterans, it's confusing. We don't get it.
Yeah.
Vietnam era veterans, boom, understood 100%. Thanks.
Essie, when might we know an exact date? Because if we are to try to line up transportation or sponsorships, things of that nature, that will be the next question. When is it happening?
I'm probably going to get an answer in the next couple of days. It's the lieutenant governor and the mayor's schedule that I'm trying to work around, as well as availability of Conard or Hall. And it's probably going to be in the middle of the week, like a Wednesday night or a Wednesday afternoon. And that's another question. I mean, if you are willing to be the sponsor of this, perhaps we could do a working group session or something and try to nail down program, invitations, RSVPs, transportation.
Kate, would it be possible for us to maybe assign people to each task or a group of folks? It sounds like we have a bunch of little tasks that Essie's mentioning, like the letters, the food, the transportation. Rather than us all talking about it, we can each subdivide and then report back.
Absolutely.
I think that'll be more effective,
Yeah.
and considering it's only a few months away, and if we got to get these letters out soon and you want to line up the transportation, we could divide and conquer and then report back.
I can build an Excel spreadsheet tonight, and I'll send it to Adam, who will send it out, and then we can communicate. I'll use Google Sheets, since most people like that. Some people like that better. Essie, is there any way that is it possible to have the date by Memorial Day? By the time
I'm
we
hoping
this
to have
next-
it by the end of this week. I already know the mayor's availability, and it's the 21st of September. So it's the lieutenant governor's office. I wanted, and I didn't want to say anything to her office until I knew I had some support to make this happen in a good way. So thank you.
We need a motion and a vote.
Would they
Probably should
be
do that, Dave. Yeah.
able to? I don't know if there's a way for somebody to mention it at the Memorial Day event. I don't know if that's
I mean,
Once we have a date and a place,
yeah,
we
if
can
you give
start
me,
talking about it.
yeah, if you guys have a date by Memorial Day, I'm the MC of the Memorial Day celebration podium talk that's going to go at the Memorial Center, and we've got a 3-star general speaking, and of course Mayor Cantor will speak, and we have invited Paul Buddy Buca, who's a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, who is walking in the parade. We've also invited him to be at the ceremony. But if you guys give me any verbiage and you have a date, that would be a great time to at least mention it out into the public, just verbally. And we can always, let them know to come up to us afterwards. And if you have any sort of a flyer, but that will be coming. And I think one of the hard things is, how do you reach out to these people? And I know, Kate, you mentioned a lot of great ways. We can go through the Legion and we can pull names. We can talk to the Jewish war veterans and the VFW posts, and you can put stuff out on social media and directly, friends and neighbors. Through the senior center is a great place, and the nursing homes. But I will tell you that right now, I can't even find people who have convertibles to drive like 6 of our veterans in the Memorial Day parade. Even though we've put out requests and done some stuff in the paper, it's not easy sometimes finding support. And I'm at a loss right now thinking, God, I can't believe I can't find like 6 convertibles in West Hartford who would drive, we have a couple World War II and Korean guys who just cannot walk in the parade. So these are still things I'm struggling. So sometimes the social media thing, I think, will have a big response. I get nowhere, and that's disappointing.
I can talk to you offline after this because I can come up. I have 3 convertibles. I know of 3 convertibles off the top of my head.
Okay.
I know it's
We'll
random
talk
info to
about that
have, but yeah, talk about that offline.
I saw your email, so you can catch me on email afterwards.
Does anybody have any additional thoughts, questions, ideas, concerns, desires?
Just one thing, Essie, I think that later date in September is great because we can mobilize people that are coming back. West Hartford is a ghost town in August. And so, I think it'd be great to be able to be, even with my old guard suggestion for drivers. The first meeting is the Tuesday after the first Tuesday, I think, for Labor Day. So, I think an announcement, I could get some names pretty quickly, but if it's September the 10th or something, then that's a different story. So if it would be on the 21st or there, be great.
Matt, did you have a question?
Oh, just a suggestion. Thank you, Kate. I was wondering if the town's public safety units might be able to assist with transporting those who, have difficulty getting around, et cetera, might be in wheelchairs. I'd be happy to explore that with the 2 chiefs. So, and I just plan to do that, and I'll report back.
Yeah,
That's a
thank
great
you.
idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll add that to the list and put your name next to it. Then-
Thanks.
Okay. Anybody else? No? Okay. Well, Essie, I think that we are in based on this conversation.
Yes.
Great. So I
Can
can
we do
set
a
up.
vote for this, please?
We should vote. I'm sorry. I mean, I apologize. I just take a vote. Sorry about that. All in favor of the commission hosting this event? Please say aye.
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 Aye. Any objections? No. Okay. Then we are honored to participate and partner with the town and the LG to host this event.
Thank you so much. I'll be in touch with everybody, and then Kate, I'll go through you if that's the way you'd like to do it.
Sure. Can you make sure can you CC Adam on it too?
Sure,
Awesome. Thank you.
sure. And Heidi, I'll touch base with you as well on the language in that letter too. That's a good idea.
Thanks. And if you
Thank you
guys
so
could
much.
provide me
Stay
anything-
tuned.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Essie.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Essie.
Essie.
in writing,
Bye-bye.
For sharing.
if you guys provide me something in writing before Memorial Day, I'm happy to add that into whatever I'm saying through MC. I'm working on all the research of putting that together right now.
Great. Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you,
Bye-bye. Have a
Heidi.
good
Thank you.
meeting.
Nice
Thank
meeting
you.
you.
Okay, so Heidi, okay, you're still here. Okay, don't leave. You're next. Okay, number 5 on our agenda, we have Heidi-Anne Mooney here from the American Legion. She's going to give us an update on their activities and other information, I believe, about the Memorial Day event.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you, Heidi.
So we have a lot going on in the next 8 weeks. Basically, this Saturday, May 21st, 8:30 a.m., we'll be at Fairview Cemetery, putting down flags. I've recruited hard Boy Scouts and some public sports teams, but any word that you guys have an ability to put out, this Saturday, May 21st, 8:30 a.m., the American Legion will provide coffee, donuts, hot chocolate like they always do. And we always need a lot of helpers because we have sort of an older unit and not a lot of ambulatory people. So we need helpers from the community to get those flags out. And there's a lot of flags. The past 2 seasons when we've done both Veterans and Memorial Day, it's been hard because of COVID. And there's been like 6 of us trying to put out all those flags. Last fall, we did have a better turnout because we got some kids to come out again and help us, but we really need help. And then they pick them up Saturday, June 4th, also at 8:30 a.m. So we put them out a week before Memorial Day, and then the Saturday after Memorial Day, we pick them up. My son and I do Old Cemetery, and the prior commander and his son does North Cemetery. We just do those on our own because they're pretty small, but Fairview is quite a feat to get all those flags out.
How many are there? How many are there?
There's how many flags? There's a couple thousand.
Thousands? Okay.
Yeah. And then so that's the first thing happening, and then we roll into the Memorial Day weekend. We've got the town parade, which we're very excited to be participating in, and we've got the Legion got the Grand Marshal, who's Lieutenant General Edward Banta. He's a 3-star. He's the deputy commander in logistics in Headquarters Marine Corps in Washington, in basically at the Pentagon. And I particularly am interested because he went to basically all the units I ever served, like 10 or 11 years ahead of me. So, and he was the same MOS as I as a combat engineer initially. So I'm very interested to meet him. And he's coming with his wife and I believe his 2 daughters, and let us know that he cannot accept any food or lunch or anything for his wife or daughters per government rules, but he can, and then he'll pay his own way. So just kind of the logistic things of trying to make sure we take good care of him while he's in our care. He's very typical Marine Corps general, not a lot of pomp and circumstance. He's not coming with his own colors, which are his flags. Some generals do travel with them, so he doesn't need us to carry those in the parade. He just says, I don't want a big deal. So we're excited to have him. He will speak at our Memorial Day celebration, which will follow right after the parade. I did mention already, Paul Buddy Buka is going to be walking. We don't know exactly which unit, but he's a Congressional Medal of Honor winner, and he is going to be walking with his granddaughter in the parade. he sits on like 4 or 5 board of directorships and is a very decorated gentleman. And so we did invite him to come to the memorial celebration afterwards to sit on the podium, and offered him a chance to speak. We just don't have full confirmation yet if that part will happen. But General Banta absolutely will speak, and then following him will be Mayor Cantor. And then the placement of the wreath, and we've got one of our high schoolers to do the national anthem and another high schooler to do the taps. So that's for Memorial Day on May 30th. And then right after that, the next Tuesday, so basically the next day, is our inductee ceremony. So I think right now we have over 20 high school students going into multiple different avenues of the armed services, to our service academies, enlisting, to our National Guard, to the Coast Guard, Air Force, Army, Navy, Marine Corps. So we will be having a dinner for them at the town hall. The prior year that I have seen it was at the golf course. It wasn't the best venue. We were really smushed in there with the parents and the boys and girls. But this year we'll be back at the town hall. And again, General Banta will be a guest speaker there. I, of course, got elected as the MC. They keep giving me that role. We're excited to see 20 kids go in the services. So that will be a really nice event. Following that, we have high school, middle school honor awards going. We've got some names from both the middle schools and high schools. Last year, a couple of schools didn't provide any names. We were a little disappointed, but with COVID, it kind of, emails didn't get to the right people. We couldn't go in the school to talk to the social studies departments and other departments that generally give that American Legion certificate of honor and recognition. Sometimes it's academic, sometimes it's just a kid interested in history. We let the schools pick. So we have been getting some of those names organized. So we will be presenting all of those either in person if COVID numbers allow, or just bringing the plaques to all those different schools. I did ask about this and we're not quite sure the status. We do have some boys, a boy from each high school. Usually they do a junior and a senior at each of the high schools to go to boys state. We offer that also to some of the private schools. We don't always get nominating names. Again, this is something we let the departments, the social studies departments provide. So their top student gets a full paid trip to go to the boys or girls state. So the American Legion does the boys state, and the American Legion Auxiliary does the girls state. So my daughter actually got chosen without me knowing that last year through her school, and she went to the girls state, and she was a junior. The senior chose not to attend, but at this point in time, we don't have any names for the girls state because the auxiliary had a change of leadership. So we're trying to find out if we could get that done, because we don't want those girls to miss out on that opportunity. It's a great opportunity to learn about government, to be in different roles, to be a lieutenant governor or a comptroller, and you have to pass law. And it's a great opportunity for young children to be a part of, especially if they have interest in political science or public office. And then we also have the Policeman of the Year dinner that is coming up in June. We're still getting a date on that, where we give the award for our Policeman of the Year for our town. I got to attend that last year, and it's very motivating. We do it for the firefighters in the fall, and the Policeman of the Year is usually in the spring. So that's going to happen in June. And then lastly, we are going up to the Hazel Lodge Post 100th anniversary. And so we have Celebrate West Hartford coming up and a lot of events going on there. We will have an American Legion tent. We're still trying to source some actors and actresses from the high schools. Right now, we're kind of running up dry there. But our prior post commander wanted to do some skits of our World War II young men going off to war, and women, and kind of what they were doing at the time, like in our town. So local stories of local West Hartford people who were heading off to war, and what they said, and the letters they gave their parents, or hey mom, hold on to my watch because I'm going to war. I want you to hold it for me. So we're trying to do some skits during that. We have really beautiful boards that were made that are really big, like maybe 3 by 4 feet that are going on podiums, rotating to our high schools, and then we'll be at Town Hall and at Celebrate West Hartford about the history of things that happened over the past 100 years for our veterans in town and through our post, so that we can do education at Celebrate West Hartford.
Heidi-Anne, we lost you. You're frozen.
I don't think the system could keep up with all the work she's doing.
I know.
Yeah.
I ran out of paper.
I'm so impressed with everything they're doing right now, and I want to
Amazing.
be able to tell her we would like to help, or I'd like to help in some way if there's an opportunity. Let's give her a minute.
Heidi-Anne, if you're there, we cannot, she's gone?
Oh,
Okay, we'll give her a second to come back. She might be able to come back. Does anybody have any questions about the information that we just heard? I tried to write most of it down.
I scribbled some of it too, Kate, just to.
Yeah, I was almost gonna say if I don't know if they have this website, but if she listed so many dates, but maybe they're listed somewhere too. I guess we could poke around.
That's not a bad idea. There's a lot going on to share with the public so they know how active the Legion is.
Also,
I know you're a busy man, but it would be really helpful if we're able to get the minutes from this meeting not too long after it, you know?
yes,
Yeah.
no question.
Especially with all that stuff that's going on there.
No, the minutes for this meeting will not arrive 2 minutes before the next meeting. You have my word.
I want, yeah, a website. Also, do they have an email list, like a constant contact? Do they do something like that on the regular as well? We could, sign up for that. Be helpful.
Well, the Post's website looks like has not been updated in a bit. So I don't know.
She's back. Welcome back, Heidi-Anne.
Hi,
Welcome back.
Heidi.
Heidi,
Sorry, I don't know when I cut out. Sorry,
Uh,
I had a bad connection.
you, you're talking about skits, World War II skits.
So we are looking for actors. We've sourced through the high schools so far right now. I think that it's just a busy time of year for them. And so we're trying to find a couple of people that want to run the skits. They're pretty small. And initially the high schools were pretty excited, but we haven't sourced people to do them yet. So they're all stories of West Hartford people that were either heading off to World War II or other events. They match up with our boards.
Yep.
And the boards that were made by Laurel, who's one of the graphic designers in West Hartford, are all pictorial things about what was going on 100 years ago in West Hartford. They're stories of local West Hartford residents. They're really great. And then the idea was that within our tent area that we would have some skits going on kind of what was actually happening. Like a gentleman heading off to war and saying to his mom, "Hey, here's my watch, hold on to it." It's a different period clothing that would match up. Can you guys hear me? Different period clothing that would match up and things like that. So that's going to be really nice. And then the culmination of some of that at West Hartford is my son is an Eagle Scout and he has a fire retirement kit that is an Eagle project that right now is being built right as you walk out City Hall. There's actually some stakes in the ground and rope, and stone is getting delivered this Friday. And the Public Works Department is his beneficiary, and the fire and police departments. My son will be building a flag retirement pit in that area. And so that's something that either was talked about having a ceremony, like a pretend ceremony, because maybe we don't want to burn and retire a flag right at that time when Celebrate West Hartford is going on. It was talked about maybe this happening during Memorial Day. I don't know if it will all be completely finished. It has a locking lid on top of it. And so when anyone in West Hartford, any unit like the Veterans Department or the Commission or the American Legion or a Boy Scout unit has flags that need retiring properly, the police and fire station also gets a lot. The Legion gets a ton. That someone could go to the fire marshal there at town hall. You can check out a key and their instructions of all the rules you have to follow and the different people that have to be contacted for this to happen. And you may host a ceremony. This can't be done by anybody. They're going to be very careful on, you know, you have to fill out forms and there's very important steps like how you light them and how you have to clean up afterwards. And the fire department has to check to make sure everything's out, and you can't do it on windy days. So all of this stuff is being written up. But the idea or the hope was that the fire pit would be done either by Memorial Day or by Celebrate West Hartford and could ceremonially be used. And in that project is also to do a little beautification of that monument that's right outside City Hall or Town Hall that I actually had never noticed before. Um, and so there's some ideas to put some like nice medallions for each of the service units on there, and with the project to also do some rehabilitation to that monument. And so the town, both the mayor's office, the Department of Public Works, and a few other organizations were offering to try to add to some betterment of that area so that it's a little nicer looking than its current. And I think, and you guys would have to help me on this, but there's plaques for each of the wars. And I don't believe there's anything for Afghanistan, but I don't know if we have any West Hartford residents that passed through the 20-year, you know, Afghanistan Desert Storm, that kind of error that we need to add on to that wall. And that's something I was going to ask if anybody knew or we could research within this group, so that we could update that memorial with current information.
I know we have at least one comes top of mind, Corporal Philippon, forgive me if I don't have his name right, who
Yes.
was killed in action.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We also have, he's a Connor graduate. He's in the Veterans Hall. He's in the Veterans Hall in the state capitol.
That's all I had as an update. Sorry,
What?
but I'm having problems with my video connection.
Palo Alto.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Good.
So the last thing was
He's
just
a
kind of,
West Point grad. He died in yes, Palo Alto.
okay.
Heidi, we've thought of two at least.
Okay, so I think we need to look into that because when I was there at that memorial last, I thought there's got to be some people that we're not identifying that should probably be on there, and we probably want to update that. And always we could add to it if there's anyone else we're missing. But I had noticed that the last time I was there that I was surprised we haven't recognized that more recent conflict.
This is at the memorial itself?
This is at the memorial that is outside. Well, I guess it could be at both, but there's two memorials so there's the circular one, right? That's on the
Yeah.
corner of Farmington and Maine. There's also the memorial that's behind when you walk outside town hall as you're going to go out to your car. And then there's the flagpoles right there. And right there is another memorial for lives lost. And that's where I'm talking about. And to the left of that, as you walk out town hall, so that's right in front of you as you cross the parking lot, and where the two flagpoles are, and right to the left is where the fire retirement kit is going. But that wall there doesn't have anything recent, and I wonder if that's an oversight or just there weren't names to put there. So I don't know if at those two different places the names go, or if one is recognizing something different that I don't understand.
I don't know. Renee McHugh, the town's public relations specialist, might know. You know,
Okay.
she was probably around for both projects. I don't
And
know
I
if the
did-
most recent memorial was meant to succeed what's in front of town hall. I'm not sure.
Okay, and she is on some emails with with Jacob, my son, and with the Legion, asking kind of, we've been trying to gather information about that. So I'll keep trying to talk with her. But if you guys, whoever said, I didn't hear who said you, if there were 2 names, if someone wants to email them to me so I can just start building that list, the Legion will kind of chair to find out more information about that. If anyone knows anything else here, of course, I'd love to know.
Tracy Wilson might also know about
Okay.
the difference between the two
The 2
memorials.
memorials. Okay.
Maybe.
And who is she, Kate?
She's the
Town historian.
town historian,
Okay.
retired Conard history teacher.
Okay.
And she's married to former state senator Beth Bye. And she's, I believe, most recently been working on the Stepping Stones project. So she knows a lot of things.
Okay. I'll definitely check with her because I have 2 kids at Conard, so that social studies
But
department.
she's not there anymore. She's
Oh,
retired.
okay. Oh, she's
She's
retired.
retired.
Okay.
It's Tracy Tracey Wilson.
Dr. Tracy Wilson.
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question though. Wasn't there something where they were looking for people to sponsor the names for the memorial that was new on the corner of North Main, and that's why maybe all of them aren't there? I don't know. I recall when it was
I
built.
think you're thinking of the fundraiser where you could sponsor a brick and put the name of
Okay.
a veteran on it.
Yeah, so maybe they were not sponsored. That's my point. There might be some veterans not on there.
Yeah, the bricks. I can say I know the
That was
American
voluntary.
Legion. I know the American Legion has budget for that kind of stuff. I'm sure you guys have budget within the commission. I don't really know much about your budgetary aspects, but
No, we have no budget.
okay, so I know the American Legion has a budget, and so if it's something about we don't have, and I'm sure the city, if we go to the mayor or whatever, we want to update those kind of things, that I'm sure that we can find budgetary money to engrave names, because engraving names is not astronomically expensive. I'm not sure about the 2 different ones, so I can try to ask, of course, Renee and Tracy Williams and see if we can find, or Dr. Tracy Williams, and see if we can.
Wilson.
Oh, Wilson, thank you. See if we can get more information about that.
Heidi, you gave us a lot. There's a lot to unpack in everything that you were telling us about. First of all, congratulations on being named commander. So John Johnson, while you were off, asked about getting all of the events, the upcoming events that the American Legion is working on or will be involved in, getting all of that up onto your website. Is it there?
So that's a good question. So the Legion asked me about a year ago to try to help them with stuff that has to do with social media. Working full time and being a single mom to 2 kids and an assistant scoutmaster of our local Boy Scout troop, I'm doing a little bit there, but I can talk with Mo because I do believe some of the links are on there for some of these events. Like we tried to start putting some Celebrate West Hartford on there, but we were trying to recruit, and we had for a while, one of my Boy Scouts at Hall was helping us with social media. That was like in an IT type of a major and computer science. And so we were trying to find a new student, and we were actually paying that. We were willing to pay the student. It was just, we couldn't find any high schoolers who wanted to do that. So it's not perfect on our website, but I certainly can funnel dates and that information, to you, Adam, and then get on. Like I actually have programs for all those things that I just said that I'm trying to go through and edit and draft. Stuff's floating through me and Pat and Mo, trying to make sure all this stuff is perfect, especially for Memorial Day, which is coming up really quickly for us. But I certainly can get that to you and mention it to Mo and some of the others to try to get our website updated. Our website is a working project where we have a bunch of 70-year-olds and me trying to do it. And I'm not necessarily a website. I can do a lot on the computer, but websites are not my forte. So that's an area that we're not super strong. I did build our Facebook page for the American Legion, but it's a business page, and whoever owned it before us, we don't have the password, so there's things I can't do on there. It's not the best. I'm thinking of pulling that page and building a brand new one that's not a business page, because a business Facebook page has a lot of rules that I can't post things. And so it hasn't been the greatest. So, and we don't have Instagram because besides me, no one in the Legion uses Instagram. And so that's like, that would be a more modern, like a sort of a younger template. We're trying really hard this year to bring in some newer veterans. It's hard. That's a really hard task to do, but we're trying.
Have you thought about reaching out to University of Hartford students, both to be actors in your skits, the Hart School of Music to do things, and also social media, and University of St. Joseph's, because they're in town. The Girl Scouts, I know that they give badges for social media and participation and things like that.
Yeah, I can look. That's, you gave me the universities I hadn't thought of. I know UConn, two of our Legion guys are both UConn grads. The Girl Scouts I have some connection with because my daughter's just finishing Girl Scouts now as a senior in high school, and I was a co-leader here. I just haven't done a lot there. So you were going to say something else, Kate?
Yes, at Tungus Community College,
Yeah.
they have a Veterans Oasis
Okay.
facility on campus, and there might be some veterans, some younger veterans there that would be more than happy to do a website and, to
Yeah,
do
and
things
it's
like
good.
that.
Like they pay them. So like they
Yeah.
say, hey, record all your hours. This is an honor system and we'll pay you for your
Mhm.
time because
Mhm.
I don't have time in my day to do that stuff, especially the website. And we want to try to modernize that. It's something that for the past year we've been really working on. So hopefully you just gave me some great ideas to tap into, and we can certainly do that. And especially for the actors too.
Also, I know this might seem, the senior center might be a good place to find somebody because and the library as well, because the library does class in the past. I believe they've done classes on websites and social media and things like that. So there might be a retiree that isn't comfortable uh, right now with COVID going places, but is a
Oh,
couple hours a week to do something like that.
hey, could I interrupt just 1 second?
Please.
Heidi, once again, I really would have to wait now till September, but the Old Guard is another tremendous organization, which I'm more than happy to try to enlist for some of that kind of help. They are, like myself, older, but many of them have tremendous expertise, particularly in technology. And the second thing, Kate, I have to drop away now. I'm sorry, but I have to.
You're wonderful. Thank you,
Okay.
John.
And please let me know what any kind of schedule for Memorial Day. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Please. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John. Nice to see you.
You bet.
I really appreciate you.
Heidi, could you give me a sense of what the membership of the American Legion looks like right now, and just kind of give me a sense of we know some of the activities that are coming up, but maybe tell us a little bit about the post.
Sure.
And
So I'll do the best I can because I didn't look that up. So just shortly before your meeting, I realized you had tagged me because I didn't see your agenda till just recently. So I was trying to talk to a couple post members to make sure I had the right things to tell you. What I remember from our last meeting, I want to tell you that we have 200 active members as far as what's on our books, but that might be, I might have that totally right. It might be 400, but either way, it doesn't really matter because what the actuality is of all those members, most of them we never hear from. We have about 20 people that we hear from that come to things. The others pay their dues, but they're not necessarily active. Some of them are older. Some of them just are there because they want to be part of a post. They'll come occasionally. We see them once a year. But of course, dealing with COVID in the last year, it's just been hard. Some of our members, they can't, come to things. They can't get rides there just because of the age. Sometimes that's a difficulty. And then there was fear with COVID. So we did a lot virtually, and that made more people fall off because a lot of people didn't have ability to use the social media or the technology to get on. And one of my other Boy Scouts last year ran the senior center technology drive where he collected laptops, iPads, and everything, refurbished them and gave them to the senior centers to allow seniors to be connected to family and events. But that's still hard because you have to know how to use it. And so I would say to you that we probably have, like, I would say 20 to 30 very active members. And then really of that group, you know, there's like 10 or 12 of us doing everything, and it's very difficult. When we also do though have the auxiliary, which is the wives or the moms, and they have their active unit. They're completely separate though in a way of us. They don't normally come to our meetings. And we also have the baseball teams that operate underneath the Legion. Those are really big. And that's led by John Cotter. I don't have all those names, but they meet at the baseball facility that's in Newington. And that's a big part of what the Legion supports. Besides, we do go to all the Boy Scout troops in town and give out American Legion plaques if you make Eagle. And they weren't doing that till I got back here because they had not had a connection to Boy Scouts. So I actually did it for both Boy and Girl Scouts in West Hartford. So we're kind of reconnected there through my, you know, involvement in those two organizations. But as far as the numbers, that's kind of, I'm pretty sure it's like 200, but it might be 400, but it doesn't matter either way. We're trying to go after, I think, like more than 75 who haven't paid dues this year. So we don't know, are they still active? Do they want to be still involved? And so that's kind of the state of it. And I would say to you that, you know, I'm half a century now, and I'm probably the youngest or younger member, and everyone is generally 70 and up. And so we've talked a lot about how do we bring in younger people, but there are other organizations like Red, White, Blue that I was involved with in California. And there's lots of other organizations out there, Marine Corps League, you know, the Jewish war veterans who I've tried to connect a little with. Also, the Knights of Columbus is a big organization in town that has a lot of veterans. So I've tried to partner with them, from my brother-in-law who I know in Southington, who's very big in the Knights. So a lot of Knights are coming out to help us with flags this weekend. And they did in September when I contacted them for the veterans in November. But as far as the state of our numbers, I would say to you that we're challenged right now. We're trying really hard to find veterans that are under 50 and to be active in our post, to come out and to do things like drive our veterans that are older or support them at events. And that's a big push that I'll try to work on this year, but it isn't easy.
Well, I'm just sorry that that it's taken so long for us to meet with you and bring you into this forum, because certainly I would like to know more about what's happening at the post and ways that we might be able to assist you. And so thank you for.
We're happy to be connected. So we're happy to be connected, and I'm happy to attend these meetings. I know that Al Cortez, I think he was part of your
Yes.
before. So I know him also because of Boy Scouts, but his son's not in our troop anymore, but I see him around. And my biggest concern for me, just personally, is I have a really busy job, and this post position is a job. It's just like Boy Scouts. They say, oh, you're gonna volunteer 2 hours a week. That's baloney. You know, I spend like 15 hours a week doing Boy Scouts and probably as much now doing this. And so just trying to balance and delegate is really important for me in this specific role, but also finding things to do together. Like I want to make sure, because I recall at the Korean veteran ceremony that a gentleman stood up, and he was part of the Jewish veterans, and he was saying, yeah, for years I tried to connect with the Legion and the VFW, and we weren't good at connecting. And I think we need to connect better, because we're all the same, and we're all after the same thing, to volunteer and help support veterans in the town. And we should do it together, because we'll be much more powerful than working in a silo, right?
Thank you, Heidi-Anne. We have to wrap up very quickly because I know that our host has a hard stop. Matt, did you have something to add or a question?
Well, just a couple things. First of all, wanted to thank Heidi, want to thank you personally for all the energy you've brought to your position and all the great work. I've got an idea with respect to finding some help for the website and social media. I'll explore that. And then I suspect it's something of a nationwide phenomenon, right? Getting younger veterans involved in our traditional organizations, and I think it's been declining the last few decades. I know I was active duty in the late '80s, early '90s, and I don't think too many of my cohort are involved. I don't know what the future holds.
I think it's mostly education. I think that if we educate what we're doing, right, then it's important, because people that are my and your age, Matt, you know, we value our veteranship and we value our older male and female veterans. And so I think it's more about education and doing it right, like going the right avenues. And I think social media is a big one of them.
I will tell you this, several years ago, after I moved to Connecticut, I attempted to join the VFW in West Hartford. And I called them, I emailed them, I went to their website and asking for an application, and I could never get it. And so finally one evening I was in town, and this was when they still had the bar
Post. Yeah.
where they would try to kill you with the drinks. They were so strong. And I ordered a drink, was with a friend, ordered a drink, and I asked for an application. And they said, oh, they're in the back or the corner. I said, I went over there, and there was just auxiliary applications. And I said, thank you, I appreciate that, but I'd like a regular membership application. And they're like, yeah, they're back. I said, no, not an auxiliary. I'm here, I'm asking on my own accord. And you could tell, unfortunately, it was unfortunate that this, you know, did not compute to the person behind the bar. So I finished my drink and then slept in my car for 2 hours. So in front of town hall because it was so strong, which was disappointing because I was like, that's a really strong drink and be a great place to go. But not after that, you know, it was like, why would I keep trying when I have a job and a kid and all these other things? And so I know that a lot of that is changing. But I speak with a lot of people I served with, and family members, and they say the same thing. They say they feel uncomfortable sometimes in these spaces because they aren't they don't fit the model and the mold
Right.
of what veterans used to look like.
Yeah.
You know, 50, 100 years ago, which we all know wasn't necessarily completely factual. My ex-husband's grandmother was in the army and a nurse on the front in France. So it and she and I used to talk about this. So it's a big issue.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair comment. And I know that VFW post isn't here, and I will say that when I first came here, I've heard other stories like this, even from males, where it was just a smoky drinking place. It wasn't welcoming, and I think that's probably why they're not there anymore, and why they lost their center, because they weren't doing some things that would increase their membership or welcoming people that are different and everything like that. So I can say, for me anyhow, at this post, that these guys, you know, of course, welcomed me with open arms, probably because like, oh, Heidi's young, let's give her some jobs to do and come on in. But also because this is a great group of people who really value their veteranship and also value helping others. And I've liked watching that among them. They're great role models. And so that's, you know, what you want to see in a post. I was in a post in California similar. So I think sometimes it's post by post, but we're talking about these things around the table, because we have one lady with us who's in a nursing home here, and she had a very important role, you know, in multiple wars. And she was a nurse, and she's fantastic, and she's in her late 70s, and I love chatting with her. And so it's really making sure that people are welcomed into the units. And so there's a lot of factors of why membership's down. Sometimes it's the cost. Some people can't afford the $40 a year. And that may not be younger people, but that is an issue as well. So I remember dragging my 2 kids to meetings, but as a single parent, that's not easy when you have kids to go to these kind of meetings during the month when you have a 3 and 5-year-old. So that's a real issue. So you bring up some good points.
Well, Heidi-Anne, thank you so much. We really appreciate all that you do for the American Legion and for our town. And it's obvious that you're one of the people that works behind the scenes and actually gets the work done that people don't know about. So we see you and we're grateful for you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And I actually have to go somewhere after this meeting, and I'll drive by town hall and look at find that other memorial. And if I have enough light on my phone, I'll take some photos of that. Try to figure out what that is. So with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And thank you to David Petrella for being our host. We really appreciate you staying late and supporting us like this.
Oh yeah, happy to. No problem.
Thank you, David.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'll work on that spreadsheet later tonight. And so you'll probably see something from me, a rough draft to start with in the middle of the night.
Barring
Thank
any changes, future meetings are in person, right?
Last I heard, they were in person. But our next meeting isn't until
Our next quarterly meeting is probably not until I have to double check.
I think it's September. I feel like it was September. So I don't know what to tell you. We could be in a much different place by September, by our next quarterly meeting.
Yeah, not sure. I will check and obviously let everyone know.
All
right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you
evening.
all.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.